when is a company ready to like buy the leads or get you to do their leads? Because if you can't even fulfill the leads that you're getting, like
those companies can't afford my service.
Right. Okay.
Sorry,
yeah,
I'm just telling you the way it is. They can't afford my service.
Yeah,
It's just
so
like with you, it's like, you're not hearing from someone who just, opened their doors yesterday. That would be inappropriate for them to even call you. It's just not the right time.
It's not the right
Same
time.
thing here. Like if someone calls me and they're like, it's just me and my wife and we don't even have any sales guys and I'm like, no.
Yeah, it's not working.
I mean, they figure it out pretty darn quickly, but it's like, this doesn't make any sense. This is too big of an investment and you're not ready yet.
And you know what really drives me nuts too? This is just, I'm going to go on a little rant for a minute, is that so many of these companies too, at least by me, they don't have any digital ways of accepting payment. Like they don't have Venmo. They don't have, they're like, send me a check. And I'm like, I don't have a check.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Cash is king. We do love cash.
Yeah. I'm like, I live in Vegas and you're doing my house in New York because I have 2 houses. I can't give you, like, can I Venmo you?
Like,
we don't have Venmo. I'm like, what do you mean you don't have Venmo?
So do you make money?
Yeah. How do you live?
Do you want me to barter with corn?
I got a guy painting my house last week and he's like, I really should probably get Venmo. And I'm like, yeah.
You think?
You think?
Yeah, you don't even need to like qualify for you don't even need to like show up as a business and show
2 seconds.
Yeah, just personal payments. I mean, you can't do it forever, but like do it now.
He's like, I'm not gonna be able to pay you for 2 weeks, so sorry.
Oh my God.
I'm not even there.
No, I get it. So like, these companies, I see them all the time. And I do have some companies that come to me who are like right on the cusp of like, we're ready, but we're not ready.
Yep.
And so I have to coach them, I have to spend some time with them. I'm like, dude, I feel bad because I'm like, I don't want you to fail. That's the last thing that I want. I don't want that on my shoulders. I want you to succeed. I'm like a dad, I'm like a proud dad. Like when someone succeeds, I'm sure you do too.
I'm the same
when
way.
a client wins, like I'm sure you get really excited.
I do. And then when a client isn't happy, I get sad.
Yes.
I'm so sad.
I take it fucking personally, really personally.
I do.
Like I panic. If someone's not doing well, I literally panic and I hate it. And I start calling all my people on my team. They know, hi team. I call everybody on my team and they start panicking. There's like, great, Peter's panicking. Now we're panicking. And it's like, because we take this so personally.
Yep,
like this is a big deal to us.
Yep,
so
I care about the results.
Yeah, cheers to business owners that actually give a shit.
I care.
Yeah.
I care. And it keeps me up at night for sure. One thing that I think is interesting, a lot of times these service businesses, I'm sure there's companies that get the leads and then they try and sell them to various different, and what are those called? Shared leads, right?
Yeah.
But I think that what's really important is when you're doing and going out and getting leads for people, these people actually have to have a brand. They have to have visibility online. They have to have the thing set up on the back end so that the leads probably convert better if they do have better visibility.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little about the companies that you're seeing like have really good results. Like how have you seen them set up for success that have done well through the visibility that they've had online?
This even surprises me to say this because I've been doing this long enough now where I thought that was going to be the reality, that it was going to be the companies that have the strongest branding and the strongest digital presence and yada, 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 all that thing. That isn't always the case. In fact, that sometimes almost has very little to no bearing on it, because I've had clients that had very, very strong, digital presence and great branding and all the stuff, and they still weren't having like exceptional. They were good. They were doing fine. They're making money, but they weren't having like exceptional results. At the end of it all, the people that get exceptional results, sorry to say it, are the ones that have the best sales training.
Okay.
The ones that have the best, because this, the business that my clients are in, which is home services, is a very sales driven business, right? And so, you come into the home and you pitch, and it's like you either leave with your tail between your legs or with a check.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's one or the other. Grant Cardone, it's like sell or be sold, right?
Yep,
one of you is being sold.
Yep.
This is who, right? And so at the end of the day, this is such a sales driven business in the home services space. It's really the people with the sharpest sales acumen that do the best. I've got a client hi James, I've got a client right now. His brand almost doesn't even exist. He's actually like underneath another brand, and their brand isn't good at all. Like it's a very, very underdeveloped brand. There's nothing special about it at all, and he kills it. He absolutely crushes. But we went to lunch together. We were sitting on Newport Beach in front of all these incredible yachts, and I bought him lunch, and I said, I want to hear your sales pitch. And he sat there and he gave me his entire sales pitch, and it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
And it's not sleazy. It's not none of that stuff. It is none of those things. It's not even salesy. It's just thought through. He has a response to everything. I'm like, well, what if they say I want to think about it? He's like, he's got a response. What if they don't have cash? I have a response. What if they can't afford it? I've got a response. What if they can't afford your second offer? I have another offer for that. What about that one? Well, we got an offer for that one too. What if they don't like the color? Don't worry, I got an offer. He's like, he has a well thought out response for fucking everything. And guess what? He crushes it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have a big company behind him at all. He built his own call center, and he's not some big operator, and he does incredibly well. So it just goes to show, ultimately, at the end of the day, it's the sales training.
Yep.
In my business, not for everybody, in my business.
Do you think that, at the end of the day, even after they leave, they're going and looking up that company online, they're looking at reviews, they're looking at all of that kind of stuff?
That all helps.
Yeah.
That all helps. But people buy from people. People don't buy from ratings. People don't buy from companies. People don't buy from brands. Ultimately, we talked about this before. Ultimately, at the end of the day, people buy from who they like and who they trust.
Right.
Right. And that you can come in, you, Lauren, the HVAC sales lady, can come to my house. And if I just like you, which I do, and if I just like you, am I going to care that you've only got one Google review or that you have 100 or you have 1,000? It's like, I don't care. I like Lauren. She's really nice. She's trustworthy. She knows her shit. She's obviously aware of what's going on. I trust her. She gave me a decent price. I don't need to keep looking anymore. So the next guy can come along. He's like, but I have more reviews, and look at I have a prettier brand. I'm like, fine, cool, but I already like Lauren.
Right. Yeah.
People buy from who they like.
I find that a lot in my company too. Like people that you click with that will buy just right away. One thing that it's interesting. I always talk about the CEO is the new brand, right? And so if you can get your CEO out there that can be talking about it, I wonder if that's the same in the HVAC industry, or even just we represented a guy, David Heacock. He has this company called FilterBuy. It's like
I've watched his YouTube videos all the time.
Yeah.
He's fantastic.
So
I love his videos.
Isn't he great?
Oh, I love his videos.
So
I'm a huge nerd. I'm a huge fan. I'm fanboying right now. Yeah.
So David.
That's right. I was like, how do I know that name? And then you said Filter. Like, oh, I love his videos.
Yeah, They're
great.
So he's we've done a lot of work with him.
Oh, that's so cool.
And one of the big things with him is like the CEO is the new brand. Like
yeah. And he's like a walking billboard of that.
Right.
Yeah.
He grew that company to like a $255 million company. So in that company, what is the strategy for getting him as the CEO out there, right? We got to think about it that way. And what we're seeing is that the evaluation of the company and even moving into different sectors of that industry will help them either buy or acquire other businesses. That's a good thing. Or it helps with the evaluation of the company go up. We worked with a med spa owner whose evaluation went from 17 million to 30 million based on the media that he had done over the past few years.
Because of the owner's branding, personal branding?
Yeah, because by branding your CEO, you can get better press, and then the press and the media on the company is actually bringing in a better evaluation for the company.
It's very funny because like this kind of flies in the face of like the old common notion that like, if you want to sell your company one day to private equity, which
your
is
CEO has to be out of it.
There cannot be any, there cannot be any owner dependence, right? Yep. So the owner has got to be out of the picture. Like he's basically just got to be, just sitting back on a couch somewhere counting his money. And that's becoming less and less true because, obviously what's going on right now in this era is just wildly different now. Like, the personal branding thing, you just can't escape it. And nowadays, obviously, also the other thing that people need to understand is that like now companies aren't being, fully sold, 100% sold out. Not a lot of owners are rolling equity back and they're only selling out, 49% of their company and these other equity players are
or they're staying on as advisors and being the face of the brand for
and so they want them to stay on, and the other thing is, and that's exactly right. It's like these buyers want the expertise of the owner to stay on for as long as possible. They're like, well, you're the magic behind it anyway. Like, we don't want to try to pretend and recreate what the magic that you've created. Let's just you stay on. And
it's the, when I was managing the sale of my personal finance company, that was a big conversation we had because I was the face of the brand. Do I stay on as the face of the brand and use my name and likeness for X amount of years as we, transition myself out? And ultimately we decided not to do that. But I think it's a good point that, CEOs, when you're branding, because you will get a lot more media if the CEO comes in as an expert in that topic than if you just pitched the brand. So if I'm pitching the CEO as, a health expert instead of the IV therapy company, what happens is the IV therapy company goes right to the sales department. And so all of the media is like, oh, okay, you can pay for that. You can pay for that. We go to the sales department. But if I'm pitching the CEO as an expert, we can get 10 times more media. And so when we're bringing a client on and they have a company, we're like, okay, we're not going to pitch the HVAC company. I want to pitch the CEO. So if you have a good, strong CEO,
bingo.
That's the key. So the brand, the new brand is what we're seeing is the CEO of the company, which you are a perfect example of showing that your brand makes me trust a call center when I have never trusted it before. So that's like your case in point of that part, of being able to trust that. And it's so different the way that we've thought about it, because typically it's like, oh, we can't be owner dependent. It's a little bit different. We're just seeing the CEO as the brand.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
it's a very different way. It's a total change,
and
it's a total change in dynamic.
Yep. Yeah. So talk to me about, you host the Formula podcast with Peter Roth. Talk to me a little bit about that. Like, why did you start that, and why do you think that 90% of business podcasts have become useless? I love that.
They don't. Well, I think most of them don't have a plan. I think most business podcasts have zero plan whatsoever.
Yep.
I've been on a lot of them, and I think you should have a niche. I think everyone should have a niche. And then on top of that, I think you need an agenda. And a podcast is fantastic for two primary things. One is networking, punching above your weight class. And the other one is, of course, trying to get clients from it. Right? It's a perfect opportunity to have a great conversation with potential clients. And I think people lose sight of that.
Yep.
I think people just, they get a little desperate and like, I need content, I need guests. And so they just start reaching out to just anybody, and they don't come in with a plan. Podcasts are expensive. People think that it's free just because anyone can turn on Zoom and just get someone on Zoom, and that is free. And that probably will go nowhere.
Yeah.
It's a bummer. Sorry to break it to you.
Most podcasts don't even go past 10 episodes.
Yeah, for sure. And news alert, sorry guys, like it's probably not going to work. Like it is an investment. It's a huge investment, not only in time, but in money.
Yep.
Like it is expensive, to have a studio, to have lights, to have cameras, to have microphones.
Yep. And then the editing.
And then
editing.
And then editors,
yep.
And all of the, and then sound and and the editing. And then how about that? And that's just part one. Now, how about what do we do with the finished product? Now we got to go chop it up. Now we got to go multi-purpose it. Now we got to maybe run some ads to it. Now, like that ain't cheap.
Yep.
And you don't have time to do that as a business owner. There's and if you do, then you're failing in your business.
And then getting guests on and getting like that's
and then getting yourself to the point where people want to be on your podcast. Sorry, but this is a pay-to-play world. I had to pay for a lot of podcasts that I was on, and that's not news. That shouldn't be a news. Well, that's not a news flash to anyone who's been doing this long enough. Maybe it is to you, but like that shouldn't be a news flash to anybody. But like, you do have to pay to play in the beginning, so that you can start to build up your resume. So that people are like, oh shit, well you were on this podcast and this podcast. Well, now I want you on mine because now I'm now 2 degrees famous, right? And so something like that. So like you have to play the game, and that's an expensive game. Like if I calculated how much money I spent. I think I did once. I think I'm probably about 40 grand in to, pay to play type stuff between hotels and flights and, meals and actual, payments to podcast hosts. I'm probably about 40 grand in. Like, so it's a hell of an investment.
Yep.
That's the branding play. That's the PR, that's a PR play.
Yep.
Right. That's like, it was a self-fulfilled PR play, So a lot of people don't do any of that stuff, and they just go straight to the podcast and then just hope for the best. And news alert. You're probably going to burn yourself out.
And one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is if you hire like our agency, a lot of times we can get around those paid placements.
Oh, well, we're going to talk.
Yeah.
We're going to talk. Okay.
Peter, where were you back then? Yeah. I mean, we can get around some of those because we have, relationships with these guys and we leverage them on the back end, right? So if you're a podcaster out there that's like, I want really great clients, like we work with a lot of top podcasters, and I'll say, hey, like if you waive your fees for our clients, I will go and find and bring you celebrities.
Well, look, okay, Bradley. Hi, Bradley.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic, and he's a wonderful human being. I had to pay to be on his podcast. Everyone knows that because Bradley is a paid podcast for most people, unless you're a big time celebrity.
Right.
And he that's public information. He doesn't hide that from anybody. I paid to be on his podcast. It was the best thing that I have ever done. Like it was a phenomenal experience, and I got a ton out of it, like actual money, like actual deals out of it too, plus all the exposure, plus the credibility and all of these things. Now, guess what? He's going to be in my podcast tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it's like, and for nothing, by the way.
Yeah.
Because he's just a good person, and because we developed the relationship.
Yep.
It was pay to play, yes.
It's a
but now there's a real
relationship
relationship, and there's nothing illicit or gross or weird about it. It's just fucking life. It's just business.
Yep.
Like he's got a real business to run. He can't just give his time to just any old schmuck who walks off the
Exactly.
street and put him on a podcast. He does have to charge, and I get that. But then once he gets to know you, he's like, okay, you're like a real legitimate person with some real cool shit.
Yep, and I
let's
like you.
let's actually develop a real relationship out of this.
Yep.
Like that's how life works. So
Exactly.
play the game or don't. But like, you got to
And I
pick a
think
side.
you got to think about strategy too. Like, you know, I've been podcasting since 2010.
Damn, that's
A
a
long
long.
time.
Oh yeah.
I've seen the ebbs and flows of this industry from the very beginning, and there never used to be pay to play.
Have you been really by the way?
Yeah.
Have you been really consistent with like your
No.
one a week type thing,
No,
or
no,
have
no,
you
no,
been like
no.
up and down, up and down?
I've had 3 different podcasts over the years.
Oh wow.
And I've
Different names, like
different names because I was in personal
Why?
finance.
Oh, I see,
So
I see.
I had personal finance podcasts.
Okay.
And then
See, that's why I didn't brand mine. That's why I didn't niche down so much
Yep.
like that. My niche is more generic.
Yep.
Right. So I didn't want to like just do home services or anything like that
Right.
because I knew like I wanted to make it a little more
Yep.
broad. So that's Sorry to
and
interrupt.
this one with visibility, I have a book coming out next year called Strategic Visibility. And my strategy for this podcast has always been to make sure that people know me as, you know, a really great publicist that owns a PR agency and is a strategist. But now having the name visibility for the podcast brings people into the strategy behind the book coming out next year. And so building up that email list, building up that, you know, understanding of visibility for that when the book comes out next year, it builds up the audience. So, you know, that's always been my strategy. And when I've always done my book launches, I've always done, you know, podcast launches the year before and breaking down the chapters that I'm talking about, bringing on guests that are experts in those topics. And shows like Brene Brown and Mel Robbins do that too, you know, when their books are about to come out, bringing on guests and breaking down the topics of their books so that when the book comes out, they have like a whole audience of people. So that's always been my strategy as well, you know, for the shows. And I think people go into podcasting thinking like, oh, this is going to make me money and all that stuff.
No, it will not. It will definitely not make you money.
definitely-
Yeah, if you think podcasting is going to make you money, that's a massive delusion right there.
Yep.
News alert: you're not Bradley. You're not Sean Kelly yet. Maybe one day, but you're not now.
Yep.
Like it took those guys forever.
Forever.
You know, Brad and Sean both have I don't know, thousands of episodes
Yep.
each. Thousands.
Yep.
They've both
it
been
takes
doing
practice.
it. They've been doing it forever. So it's like, yeah, and that's also like mostly their full time gig. You know, like, so no, like just that's not the thing. Like you use it to build your own brand.
Yep.
You use it to punch up and network up. You use it to maybe land a few clients here and there, but you got to commit to it.
Yep.
And most people won't.
Have you done anything else to become visible online besides having your own podcast and being a guest on other podcasts?
Just the usual social media stuff, you know, and I'm self-admittedly not great at that part
Okay.
yet. I'm getting better at that now. The podcasting has been probably the best part of it, or it's the part that facilitates it the best because it gives, you know, as you know, it gives you so much content
Yep.
to work with and gives you the ability to have so much material that you can chop up later that it's fantastic. So it's going to get it's a flywheel, right? And so it just becomes a bit of a snowball effect, you
Yeah.
know, over time.
How do you think people can get to be, because you're a host and a guest, and I think
Yeah.
you're fantastic at both.
Hey, thank
Yeah.
you.
How do you think you've gotten to be, and how can people be good at both? Or even just being a good guest is hard.
Ooh, I don't know.
Humor, we
I
were
don't
talking
know.
about that.
Yeah,
But-
but
yeah.
God, this is gonna sound conceited as shit. But I'm like, not everyone has. I don't know. Not. God, how do I say this without sounding like a
Not
fucking
everybody's
dick?
as cool as you?
Without sounding like a dick, but it's like not
everybody's
everyone's
as
not
cool as Peter.
not everyone's funny. I don't know what to
Yeah.
tell you. It's like, you know, it's tell some good knock knock jokes or something.
Interview, like duds. Like I've interviewed some duds, and I'm like, damn, this is
Yeah.
hard.
I've been on a podcast where the host almost put me to sleep.
Yeah.
I was literally like, I hope this never goes out. Like, I don't want anyone to see this. It was embarrassing. He had
Yeah.
no agenda. He had no agenda. He had no personality. He just had no personality. That's really the biggest thing,
Yep.
right? He just had no ability to carry on a normal conversation. There was just no character behind anything, and it was just boring as hell. I was like praying. I was literally just like, please, dear God, let this end. I was
Yep.
like, literally, please let this end. Please let this end. This
Yep.
is so bad. It's
I've
so
done those
embarrassing.
before.
It was embarrassing. Yeah.
I've done those before.
I was carrying the whole, like, I felt like I had to make up for his lack of personality.
Yep.
So I was trying to, like, just carry it was terrible.
benefit of owning a PR agency is I have a whole team of podcast bookers. So now I just am like, can you guys look at this, I was pitched for this. Can you guys, check this out, see how many viewers there are, watch a couple episodes, see if it's good for me. And now they're just like, nope, Lauren, you're not going on that one.
Yeah.
Nope, you're not going on that one. So I've had my share of duds when I don't do that. And then I'm like, guys, why did I go on that show? They're like, you didn't have us look at it beforehand. So